So this evening I thought I'd do a short film walking you through my Blaze, sail number 807. Three real reasons. One is I want to sell it if anyone wants to buy a nearly new, so far as I'm aware it's less than 2 years old. I'm the second owner. Blaze in excellent condition. Secondly, because this is the third Blaze I've owned, and if I sell it I'll be buying another one, so I'm not walking away from the class, but this is easily the best one I've had. Can't lay claim to it all, but it's partly, I guess, the Cirrus build now with Mike Van's latest fit out, partly the previous owner's adjustments and fiddlings he's done, a little bit of what I've done, but all that together, the boat behaves, works, sails beautifully, really nice boat. And then thirdly, leading on from that, because I'm going to get another one, I want to know how I can make that one as good as this one. So I thought if I film it, some of you might be interested, some of you might want to buy it, and if nothing else, I want to refer back to it when I sort out the next boat. I'll start with the obvious. It comes with a proper combi trailer, good breathable cover. It's not going to come with them fat tyres. I've got the standard tyres I put on it. I've bought them just for this beach, so I'll transfer them to the news boat. But I'll pause it now, take the cover off, pull the racks out, put the sail up and walk you through how this one's set up. So here she is. We'll start with the basics, maybe obvious. She's a White Formula build hull, which I believe makes her a Mk3a, to distinguish them from the Rondar built ones. She's one of only two with the red hull, because the previous owner has had two new boats and likes red, and apparently always buys red ones. And to be honest, it's kind of grown on me. I kind of like it rather than just the white, but I guess each to their own. She's complete with a carbon mast, the class approved carbon mast, carbon boom, all the latest kind of setup, off the boom sheeting. Obviously you can convert that if you want to, but to be honest, once you get used to it, you love it. This one's got full length netting on the side as opposed to the conventional trampoline, which again is brilliant. You don't have to worry about falling down that hole. You can sit anywhere you like, and in practice, where the standard upwind position is kind of to slide your backside up and down the forward tube, I find now that I've got the choice, I'm actually better off just on the netting, just to the rear of that, and it's a better trim position. So it's actually not just for safety. I find it actually very useful. So anyway, let's start at the front and talk the detail. I run a fair bit of tension, not a lot of tension in terms of like 505 or something tension, but a lot of tension for a Blaze, which is normally a slack rig. I don't know the figures, I'm afraid, but if I just wiggle that, you can see there is actually a bit of tension in it. Not huge, but some. And so that I make it repeatable, I've got this done with a loop, a safety on it, and I have a very simply constructed kind of boat breaker system to sort of put the tension on. At least it's repeatable then, and I know where I am. So moving forward, can't claim to really set this up. I rake the mast back slightly more from where it came, and I don't know what that measurement is, just did it by feel. I haven't touched things like mast foot and so forth, so I don't know what the measurement is, but that's where my mast foot is. So that's 1, 2, 3 holes back from the front, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes back forward from the back. I don't know if that's normal. Spreaders are standard as they came. I've raked mine back a hole, and I'm not sure I've done the right thing there. So I suspect I might move it back forward again, or maybe I'll recommend to whoever buys this to move it forward again, because it's a little bit too much mast bend. I always work on the basis that being sort of 70 kilos, I'm always overpowered, so I set the boat up with that in mind, but I might have gone a bit too far there. So work on the basis of working back. Lowers, as it came to me, Dinghy or whatever line up from the deck attachment point. There's the conventional spreader bracket, it's got a block on it. They both come together and join together, going through an eye on the mast to keep them both aligned so that both tension the same amount, onto a hook, which therefore makes raising and lowering the mast easy because you just unhook the lowers from there. And then that's on a simple 3-to-1 purchase on a block. I've now taped off a mark where I find I'm happy. I found adjustable lowers actually a really nice thing to have, but like a lot of things on the boat, once you find the sweet spot, you don't tend to fiddle with them so much. So if it's particularly light or particularly windy, I might reach for it, otherwise it just stays on my tape mark and that's it. Okay. Oh, mast rake, since I'm looking at shroud pins, again, like I say, I don't know what the measurement is, but it is pretty much as raked back as the recommended class setting, I think. Right, next, if I start with the controls, I walk Cunningham. I've got 6-to-1 on this. Not sure it's so necessary with the carbon mast, because the carbon mast is so forgiving that you don't need the extra, but certainly with the aluminium mast I never found 4-to-1 enough at my weight, so started doing 6-to-1 and I've converted to this one as well. And personally, I think everyone should have 6-to-1 on their Cunningham, myself, but certainly when you're my weight you need a lot of Cunningham, so I do it. So it's done by the yellow line here. The thin yellow line is the fixed line, so it's going round the block at the foot of the mast. Oh, it's tying off on the block that's attached to the sail, down around the block on the foot of the mast, back up, and then it picks up the normal 2-to-1 from the control lines, and that lets me get on as much Cunningham as I'll ever need. There's never enough room to get 8-to-1 in there, and like I say, 4-to-1 I don't find enough, but 6-to-1 works well for me. And these control lines are led back through standard deck blocks, which are Allen blocks. I know from the Nationals, where there was a few people having problems with blocks, and conversation with Mike Lyons, he's found the Allen blocks to be the most reliable. This came with them and has never shown any sign of giving me any problem, and I've been out in some pretty windy days with it, so I'm very happy with them. Let's just quickly talk about control lines. Through a raised block on deck, which is a bit of wood, previous owner did it. I was thinking the first thing I'd do when I got the boat was to take them off, but I've sailed with it, and I'm actually thinking the first thing I'll do with the next boat is put them on, because the ability just to reach in, cleat and uncleat from literally anywhere on the rack. I could be right at the back here. If I'm right at the back, I'll have a lot of kicker pulled on, but I can cleat it and uncleat it from anywhere on the rack. On the normal position, you find yourself having to kind of push it down into the cleat. So they might look a bit, I don't know, last decade on a modern composite boat, but actually brilliant. So control lines come back, very simple. They're dead ended. It's 2-to-1 effectively on a thin piece of elastic that just runs through my webbing netting, around a turn eye at the end of the wing, another eye in the middle of the boat, back out to the other side. So, and as you can see, I effectively just have 2 cleats, which is the Cunningham, the kicker, and then the centerboard uphaul and downhaul, or uphaul, is on the same elastic take up, which goes the same way, but you don't need a cleat. That's because this one, and again, previous owner did this, I think that's just Spinnaker repair tape or something like that being taped on it to make it a good fit in the slot. So I get no slop in the board when it's up or down, and just enough friction to hold it in place. So I might as well carry on with that while I'm talking about it. So my uphaul, piece of rope tied together, so there's just 2 normal ends through the block. Then this ties to another block. Now when the centerboard's down, bring the rope to simulate it, that would go to there like that, so the block would pulls to the front of the mast. Then when I pull it down, if I pull my downhaul rope, it goes just as far as this eye on the deck here, and that happens to be just the right amount of balled up or the most balled up I'll ever really need for the bear away on a run. Maybe if it's a light wind day and I'm borne away, I might then choose to pull the board up a bit more, but 9 times out of 10 that's the right setting for me going downwind. It means, and with the system on the boat is at the moment, I can get the board up on all, but if I'm fully strapped hiking, I can't shift it. But if I take just a little bit of pressure out of the boat, I can still be on the racks. I can just yank the board up pull. It comes back to that deck eye. The board's up in the right place. I let the kicker off, which I can reach from anywhere, or maybe not let the kicker off, but I can adjust the controls from wherever, and I can do all that from out the rack without having to struggle or scrabble for ropes. Because there's only 3 lines, they naturally lie a sensible distance apart, so if I want the kicker, it's the one in the middle, it's easy to grab, I'm not untangling the lines where they all get joined up. Just works really well. And then to finish off the centerboard doesn't use a bit of elastic. There's a downhaul on it which is tied here. Shift the sheet up to make it easy to reach. It's tied onto the end of the main sheet, so even if I'm out on the racks, I'm going up a run or a reach and I know I'm going to come to a beat and I'll get the ball down, I can prepare myself by moving along the main sheet to get to the ball downhill. But that's a simple, it goes through that block on the side there, up through a block on top of the board, down to another block on the board here, on the hull deck there, and then back up and ties off on the board. So it's 3 to 1 effectively, and that again is ample for getting the ball down. So between them 2 bits of string I can pretty much fine tune my board from anywhere in the boat. Works really well. Right, moving back then, Outhaul, pretty conventional. Do away with all the cleats on the deck, you don't need it. It's just the standard system as it comes from Cirrus, I believe now, through a block on the end of the mast, out through a cam cleat there. This is slightly different, it's got 2 bits of elastic. It just helps hold the rope into the cleat, stop it falling out, and gives me a nice handy hold to grab if I really do need to grab it. But I suspect, like most blade sailors, the Outhaul tends to be a kind of set and forget. I know what I want before I go in the water, or when I'm at first on the water, and I don't touch it since. But should I need to, it's easy. If I want to uncleat it, I just reach from in front of the elastic and flick it out. If I want to pull it on, I pull from there. And then finally, kicker is actually very conventional. More Allen blocks. It's a larger one on the boom, smaller one next one down. That's a Ron stand for some reason, but by then it's not very heavily loaded. There's another larger, what's that, 32mm block or 30mm block as opposed to 20mm blocks on the mast. And I'll quickly mention that. Don't know if this is conventional or whether it was a previous owner or whatever it is, but the kicker is fitted to some splice strops that go through from the front bolt round the mast and join up onto that shackle. It means that as the mast moves, you can see how that slides around. The actual pivot point or the attachment point of the kicker is fixed basically the same distance from the mast as the gooseneck. So as the boom moves in and out, there's no adjustment to the kicker tension at all. So at least you know what you've got. And it's really simple. When you want to take the mast off, you've just got to undo that shackle. I've recently, as with pretty much all the ropes on the boat, recently replaced those. They're all new. Lowers are actually the same. It's got a new halyard, new Cunningham line, new kicker line, new centerboard lines. Didn't actually replace the ropes on the kicker, but they're all very good. New main sheet, because I did the Nationals this year and I just didn't want to be going out for the sort of hour-long sail out around Hayling Bar, only to find something trivial snapped or broke. So replaced everything before I went, and the boat was 100% reliable. Also totally waterproof. Didn't get a drop in it, which again, not all blazes, certainly not the old blazes, can say that. This is really well built and has worked well. So anyway, finish off the kicker then. Standard 16 to 1 there, through the block, nothing unusual, and then to my elastic there. So that's pretty much standard. Tow straps, again, probably conventional, probably the standard tow straps. A bit of elastic tied around the top of the wing here, just to bring it forward for my little legs so I can reach it. I used to hang a lot deeper. I used on my other boats on the tow straps, but because my knees are getting a bit tired now, I've started to run this a bit tighter. That would normally have been out to here, say, so I can hang off, but that's kind of coming to there. I'm about 5'7", 5'8", so I find that's a good setting for me, because I spend a lot of the time now sort of here, and that's the tow strap coming to there. Tiller, nothing unusual. Carbon tiller extension, quite long, how I like it. Pretty much comes to there if I hold it out. I don't know what that measurement is, but I guess if you're comparing this to your boat, you get the idea. Nice big bobble on the end, which in my instance is just one of those plastic rope stopper knots, but a really big one, pushed over the end of the tube and taped on. I don't do it so much now, but I'm sure we all have, where you slide your hand along the tiller extension, it slides off and you drop it, and you know, clearly that's not a good manoeuvre. So I tend to all my boats now put a big lump on the end so I can't go wrong. Right, main sheet. The conventional position for the main sheet is on the kicker strop here. I don't like that, because I like, when I'm hiking, to kind of hang off the main sheet, so I move mine forward. It's just another webbing strop that's been put on the boom, and it's been threaded through the kicker strop, so the kicker strop is kind of gripping it as well, just to add some extra strength to it. And then it's a Harken ratchet on the boom, which grips brilliantly. This black and white speckled rope. Tried a few different ropes recently when I replaced it, and this turned out to be really good. So maybe better stuff out there, but this is certainly very good. So main sheet, yes. So it's further back. That's what, 12 inches, maybe more, maybe 15 inches back from the kicker point. I find works really well. Through a clear tube on the boom just to keep it out of the way. Through a Harken block riveted to the back. This is how mine came. If you're in the business of wanting to convert your boat, this one's just got some large metal washers, nylon nuts bolted onto it, and it again been 100% reliable. Harken blocks tied off, and then the traveller, rather than just using knots tied into the horse here, the previous owner set up this system of adjustment. So this rope on this adjustment here, which I've got tied off because I'm not, now I've found the sort of sweet spot again, a bit like the lowers, unless it's particularly light, particularly strong, I don't fiddle with it. That rope goes round here through an extra line that just keeps the excess rope out of the way, and ties off on the block. So the block on this side is stopping the boom going too far this way, and then the same on this side. The rope on there is holding the boom on this side. Don't know whether I'd bother with that again, but it certainly makes finding the sweet spot an awful lot easier. And I'm glad I had it, because it's been quite fun to sort of fiddle with while I've been getting used to the boat. And then moving aft, cover at the back, which actually is broken an O-ring. Blimey. Okay, I need a new O-ring on the hatch cover. I'll obviously replace that. Haven't used the boat for about a month because we've been on family holidays and duties and so forth, so it's been sitting here. Rudder on the back, fairly standard fitting, absolutely solid, doesn't move, as you would expect. I guess that's the standard Cirrus rudder stock, standard Cirrus blade. There's a couple of very small dinks that have been repaired in the edge, but nothing of significance. A bit like the whole boat. There's no marks really of significance. There are, may not come out on the camera, I guess from previous owner or some point in training. I don't know if you can see that. There's a very slight sort of bruise on the gel coat at the front there. It's not damaged, it's not really, the glass isn't cracked or anything, but the gel coat's just cracked there. There's a slight bruise on this side, but in this dim light, oh there we are. Oh no, that's not it. Well, there you go. That's how hard it is to find. There's a slight bruise on that side. If I show you the transom, there's a couple of tiny digs, but pretty much nothing itself. There you go. One little dig there. No marks. The bottom of the hull is pretty much spotless. There are no scratches, grazes. It's a properly gunnel hung trolley, so it never touches anything. And then the final little frustration, but again, very, very minor. There's a couple of little marks on the gel coat on this side. Get a sense of it, where they've just, presumably it was like an air pocket under the gel or something. It just needs a bit of filling in. I really should talk to Mike and get some of the touch-up, but it's not significant. But that's it. I mean, I'm being as honest as I can here. Other than that, the boat is ready to sail. It's in great nick. It's really good fun. It's fast. If I walk back a bit, the sail is the original sail that came with it, but the previous owner hardly used the boat. Maybe a dozen times at most, not even that perhaps. I used it a bit during the winter, but I haven't used it as much in the summer because, again, other family commitments and so forth. Sets beautifully, got a good shape. I made 10th at the Nationals, which I was really chuffed with, and that's largely down to the speed of the boat, to be honest. Not sure I'm necessarily warrant being there, but I was pleased with it, especially having only just come back to the class. So there she is. That's my Blaze, and yeah, if you got any observations, comments, questions you want to ask, or things you don't agree with, please leave a comment on the channel so that we can get some feedback on this, because this is just my boat. I didn't really nose around the boat park at the Nationals that much. We've got some boats here. We've got quite a strong fleet of Blazes here at the moment, and they're all slightly different, but they're all Mark 1s, Mark 2s. This is, apart from one early Mark 3, but this is only later Mark 3 here. So I've got nothing directly to compare it to. But I have to say, there is nothing I would change on this when I get my other Blaze, which, like I say, is the reason I'm doing this film. So yeah, that's it.